Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sadivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakambitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Visabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Ghaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We'd like to welcome everyone. Those who are watching online, this is a weekly program we have here in Krishna Balaram Mandir, and this is initiative of our IBTV, ISKCON Vrindavan TV, to have an open session, questions and answers period. Would like to invite everyone to ask any question. Ask a monk any question. Your questions can be delivered or sent through, is this Facebook and YouTube also? And we will try to reply and give you answer to the best of our ability. Specifically would be best for what we are going to read. Somehow I chose to read from the Nectar of Devotion. This is a very nice book. The summary study of Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Srila Rupa Goswami is one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, direct disciples of and followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead who appeared 536 years ago in Navadvip, Shidam Mayapur, where also right now our headquarters, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we have about close to 10,000 devotees there, full-time devotees following the process of Bhakti Yoga, the science of developing love of God through the process of hearing and chanting, remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, worshipping Him in His deity form, Archanam, Vandanam, praying, dashyam, serving, sakyam, also archanam, bandhanam, dashyam, sakyam, atma nivedanam, becoming a friend, and ultimately giving up everything for the service of the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada says that the Nectar of Devotion is our law book. Yes, law book. It's like many do's and don'ts that we should follow in order to have the end result is that we will develop God. So in the chapter 1, characteristics of pure devotional service. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't write any books, but he left us with 8 instructions in the Sri Sikshastakam. But he gave the responsibilities, the duties to his followers, especially the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, namely Shri Rupa, Shri Sanatan, Gopal Bhatt Goswami, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, and Sri Jiva Goswami to write the Sastras, Bhakti Sastras or Rasa Sastras, how we can develop love of God purely. So in the chapter 1, it describes the 6 characteristics of pure devotional service, namely, and we will read as we go along, we will try to give also short commentary based from what we have heard regarding to what we've read or we're going to read. 6 characteristics. Pure devotional service gives relief from material distress. Pure devotional service bestows all auspiciousness. Pure devotional service derives even the happiness of liberation. Pure devotional service is rare and difficult to achieve. Pure devotional service brings incalculable transcendental pleasure, and pure devotional service is the only means to attract Sri Krishna. So we begin from this chapter. Relief from material distress. Srila Rupa Goswami minutely analyzes the causes of suffering to show conclusively that devotional service is the best and only way to relieve oneself from material distress. Causes of suffering. Suffering has 3 causes. First of all, we suffer as a result of our sins, our improper materialistic actions, papam. We perform materialistic actions because we have material desire. So material desire, vijam, is the secondary cause of suffering. Material desires or material desire arises from ignorance of our true nature as Krishna's loving servant. Therefore, ignorance, avidya, is the root cause of suffering. Thus, ignorance causes desire, which causes sin, which causes suffering. It's very scientific, this knowledge, telling us ultimately why we suffer. We suffer because we are in ignorance. It's like before we start in this session, we utter that mantra invoking auspiciousness, Mangala Charanam, and the first mantra that we uttered is Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyanan Gyana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my humble obeisances unto my spiritual master, who has opened my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge, because I'm in ignorance. We may have eyes, but are we really see the real thing, the truth? Because these eyes are very also deceiving. It's like when we see the sun up in the horizon, it may only look like no bigger than like a rupee, or but actually, is it really the size of a 1 rupee coin? No, it's far bigger than 1 rupee coin, bigger than our planet also. So ignorance specifically refers to the misidentification that this body is the self, according to the scriptures. And also we can realize it, that we are not this body, we are a spirit soul. That the body actually is made of material elements, and having come in contact with the material energy of the Supreme Lord, the soul became covered up by this ignorance, identification with the body as the self. We are beyond this body. When you say my soul, it is not my soul. We can say my body because the soul is the owner of the body. But we don't say my soul. You are the soul. You don't say my. Who is the my? You are the my. So you cannot say both ways. It doesn't work. So, and the nature of the soul is always to desire. There is never a moment that the soul will never have any desires. And the desire, it depends on what we desire. We can have material desire or spiritual desire. Spiritual desire means only for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, or only for the pleasure of His pure devotees. If we desire something for my own sense enjoyment, which not really going to make us fully satisfied, because the desire materially is temporary, the result. Whatever happiness that we are seeking by fulfilling the desires for sense enjoyment is not going to last for long. But desire to please the Supreme Lord and His devotees, the result is eternal, everlasting. So first, out of ignorance, we desire. And because our desire is not properly situated, it is for the benefit of oneself, to enjoy the sense objects with the senses, and therefore instead of becoming happy, we become more miserable. Sufferings is there. We suffer more and more and more. It's like it cannot be fulfilled, because the spirit soul is the one that needs to be the focus here. If we focus about pleasing our material senses, then we cannot be fully happy. In the other hand, we think that we are happy, but actually we are miserable. We are suffering. It's like an example is an intoxicated person. It says an intoxicated person, he doesn't really know whether he's wearing a jacket or not. Or he's so intoxicated, sometimes you will see them swimming in the Nali. Right? It's like completely out of his mind, but he's thinking, I'm happy. Is he really happy? He's swimming in his own vomit. Is he happy? No, actually he's suffering. So the root cause of suffering is ignorance. Ignorance because then identifying with the body as the self, and then desiring to fulfill the sense enjoyment of the body, but instead, because it says that also there are different levels of happiness. Says in the Bhagavad Gita that first it tastes like nectar, but it becomes poison in the end. This is material happiness. Tastes like, oh, very sweet, but then it becomes very bitter in the end. It becomes poison. It becomes a source of miseries and sufferings, because that is the material world. Dukkhalayam asasvatam. Then there is another type of happiness that says that it is like poison in the beginning, but it becomes nectar in the end. Bitter, not poison, bitter in the beginning, then it becomes sweet. It's like when you, it's a crude example, just like the cow's urine, gomutra. If you taste it in the beginning, oh, it tastes like, oh, very salty. But then later on, it becomes sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. And it is a cure for so many diseases. It's a cure for many ailments. So medicine in the beginning may be bitter, but ultimately it is the cure. Similarly, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in the beginning seems to be no taste at all, but then as the more you chant, then it becomes sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. Yes. So we continue. Thus, ignorance causes desire, which causes sin, which causes suffering. Yes, you desire, then it becomes sinful because it is against the principles of Dharma or religion, Bhagavat Dharma or Sanatan Dharma. Then you suffer. The result. This is karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. What goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. It's like a boomerang. Like in Australia, they have this boomerang. It's like a shape, like an angle like this. You throw it like this, but then it goes around and then comes back to you. You can catch it. Or like a Ferris wheel. You know, sometimes you're in the bottom, then it goes up, then you're on the top, and then it goes round again, then comes back. Sinful action causes suffering in two ways, directly and indirectly. Each materialistic action generates both manifest prarabdha and unmanifest aprarabdha reactions. So this is how karma works now. We perform activities which is against the principles of Dharma. It's like we were talking about that yesterday. There are different kinds of Dharma. There's Adharma, irreligion, and there's also Upadharma. So the actions, not necessarily that the reaction can be received immediately. Sometimes it takes even lifetimes. Karma means a law of nature. What you perform, there is an equal or opposite reaction based from the different modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. We directly suffer physical and mental distress from the manifest reaction, while the unmanifest reaction returns into our heart and increases our proclivity towards sin, kutam, which increases sinful desires and thus brings habituation and addiction to sinful activity and its concomitant suffering. Yeah, the karma can be felt physically and mentally as well. But more painful is mental. I've seen even some devotees, they're suffering mentally. They're trying to make advancement, they're trying to be accepted in Krishna consciousness. But somehow the mental disease that they have or distress drags them down. And seemingly, but because they're determined, then Krishna will give his blessings to them and mercy to them, that ultimately they'll get rid of that mental distress or physical suffering. For the materialists, there's no way. The only solution is to become Krishna conscious. All of these sufferings and miseries in this world cannot be mitigated or cannot be cured by material solutions. Material solutions is a patch-up solution. It's like allopathic medicine is patch-up solution. You don't get cured ultimately. But Ayurvedic solution, it may take a long time. It may take, or even let's say this homeopathic medicine. If you think about it, just few drops of something, alcohol with some chemical or natural. How is this going to work? But you keep taking, and eventually you get cured. So yes, the process materially is an instant relief, but it doesn't last. And the side effects is much more. So those who are mentally depressed, this is the number one disease in the world, especially in America. The number one fastest or best-selling medicine is antidepressant. I have friends also here in India. They are suffering mentally and they're taking this medicine, antidepressant. So my suggestion to them is that you cut it in half and do more chanting, do more reading, associate more with the devotees. Because if you become a dependent of this medicine, the more you will become depressed. And the only solution is association with the devotees, be in the kirtan, take Krishna Prasad, and read Srila Prabhupada's books. There's no way of getting out of this situation. There is no material solution to the material problems. The only solution for material problems, namely repeated birth, death, old age, and disease. This is our main problem. And this can only be overcome if we become Krishna conscious. If one comes to Krishna consciousness, then all of these reactions from the sinful activities that we perform in innumerable lifetimes will be burned to the root. Just like the farmers, before they grow the new crop, what do? They burn the fields. It's like, when you pass by after the harvest, after some time they have to sow new crops. So they have to burn because there's some roots still there from the previous. And after burning this, then it'll become fresh, and then they will have new seedlings to be cultivated. So similarly, we are like that. Our hearts is so contaminated from the sins, previous sins, and the previous sins, the reaction of that is sufferings, and then we keep on performing sinful activities, again out of ignorance, We don't know what to do and what not to do. Then we have desire, and then it becomes sin again. It just, where will it end? But there can be an end. Karma can be stopped. According to the Bhagavad Gita, there are 5 major topics. Isvara, the Supreme Lord; Jiva, the living entities; Prakriti, which means the material nature; Kala, time; and Karma. Out of those 5 topics, 4 are eternal and 1 is not eternal. It can be stopped, and that is karma. The only way how to stop our sufferings and miseries and not perform any more sinful reaction, which in return will, the result is more sufferings and miseries, is to become Krishna conscious. Pure devotional service relief ones from suffering. Devotional service destroys each and every cause of suffering. In one stroke, everything can be cut off. It's a direct way how to solve the main problems that we have. Unmanifest reactions. My dear Uddhava, devotional service unto me is just like a blazing fire which can burn into ashes, unlimited fuel supplied to it. This is Bhakti. Like fire completely destroys any amount of wood, pure devotional service destroys the unmanifest reactions that fuel our future, our material desires. Which means that there's still what you call sinful reactions from the past that is not manifest. It will come after some time. But even that, even if it's not unmanifest, and some of them are manifest, that means already we are experiencing the result of our karma. The sufferings that we are experiencing right now is because of our previous, but there are more. It's like a long queue. Yeah? It's like, going to a supermarket, just to pay for what you bought. You have to follow a long queue, and then when your term is up, then you will pay for the groceries, right? And similarly, we have so many sinful reactions from the past that still it has to come out. It will manifest. But if you perform bhakti, all of those will be burned by fire of devotional service. It will be extinguished. And no more. It says there is no, it's like even chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. There is no sins that one will commit in the future that the chanting of the holy names of the Lord will not be able to burn. You understand? That means even the sins that you are about to commit because of the sins that because it's a cycle. Pure devotional service will destroy all of them. Like fuel. Like the fire. It can extinguish all the wood. Any amount of wood. Because the more there's a fire and you keep putting wood, the wood will burn anyway. It will not remain as the original state. My dear Lord, anyone who hears about your pastimes, who chants about your glories, and in this way executes any of the 9 kinds of devotional service, even if he's born in a family of dog eaters, becomes immediately qualified to perform sacrifices. This is the The Bhagavad Gita is like that. Knowledge about the Supreme Absolute Truth, like the Bhagavad Gita, Shrimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and other scriptures written for the glorification of the Lord's holy name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes. Actually, also at the same time, it extinguished the sins. It purifies the heart. That even if he is born in the family of dog eaters, he becomes immediately qualified to perform sacrifices. It goes beyond the boundaries of any social concerns. We were talking about that also, like Haridas Thakur yesterday. He was declared by Lord Chaitanya and Sanatana Goswami as Nama Acharya, even though he was born in the Yavana family. Those who disobey without any concerns about the scriptures, the Vedic knowledge or the Vedic culture. Many of our members all over the world, we live in places where countries are very degraded, where they eat anything and everything. Anything that has eyes, netra, they will eat. We also eat fruits that has eyes, pineapple. That's considered as eyes. But there are countries in Asia, they eat insects, they eat snakes, they eat everything. They eat cockroaches, they eat ants. You go to a market, they will, okay, how much kilos do you want? Right? In the Philippines, not all of them, they also eat dogs. They're called chandalas. Yeah, but if they take up to the process of Krishna consciousness, Sanatana Goswami says, the bell metal can be also, if you know the proper formula, the composition, the bell metal and mercury, it can be turned into gold. So similarly, even the most degraded, fallen, conditioned souls, sinful, conditioned souls, they can be turned into a Brahmana, more than a Brahmana, a Vaishnava. And this is what Prabhupada did when he came to America. Low birth is a manifest sinful reaction, symptomized by inability to take advantage of Vedic knowledge and sacrifices. So taking low birth is a reaction from the past. This is karma. It says that anyone who perform bhakti, but they're not able to become successful, they're not able to complete the process in spite of so much trying to become a pure devotee. There is no loss or diminution, and some of them, or the result is that one will take birth in a family of devotees, or an aristocratic family, or in a Brahman's family. This is the result, whereby they'll be able to easily continue the process from where they left off. My dear sir, Param, is there any question there? Or they just want to hear?
How to practice in Mahamantra in our mind, not control? Please give any method or example.
Was that again? How to practice Mahamantra
in our mind.
In our mind? Yes.
Not control. Please give any method.
Oh, if the mind is not controlled, how do you practice Mahamantra? There is a solution for this. The solution is you don't fight with the Maya. Maya will always win. the way how you control the mind, Prabhupada says there's no possible to control the mind. Mind is always thinking of many, many things. Main way how to control the mind is to ignore the mind. The mind will go. The thinking of the mind, if it's not Krishna conscious, proper way is that you just ignore. I gave this example many times. The mind is our greatest enemy right now, because we're always making plans for our own benefit. If the mind is thinking of Krishna, then he is our friend. So the way how to do this is that you're chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and many thoughts come. It doesn't have anything to do. See, because when you chant, you should only chant. Don't think of anything, even what you're going to do that day for Krishna's service. And sometimes you've seen devotees, they will chant, they have a small notebook, then they have a pen. Okay, they'll write down something and put it down. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay, they will write. Because they're writing notes, they're thinking of what to do. No, when you chant, you only chant. And if the mind thinks of something else, you ignore. That is how you tame the mind. Another example is that you've seen in circus, like these wild lions. What is the technique that the trainer will do to tame them? Okay? You don't feed it. Starve them. And then if you say sit and they sit, what do? They give a little bit of food, right? The dogs, they do that. You know how to train the dog? Say sit. Okay, stand. Circle. Every time they do one thing, so they became the master now. Whatever they say. So similarly, you just ignore the mind. Don't feed the mind. Don't entertain the mind. Another example was given that unwanted visitor came to visit your flat or your ashram, your villa. He could be very, very rich. He can be very, very influential. But you don't want to see him because, a criticizer or blasphemer or... So what do? You ignore the visitor. And if the visitor feels that, hey, he's not giving me any attention, what will the visitor do? The visitor will walk out, will walk away. So this is how you control the mind. Okay? Ignore the mind. Any other question?
Yeah. How to Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, or Krishna? Balaram in Gopi.
Excuse me? Can you...
How to Jagannath?
How does Jagannath? How to?
Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, or Krishna Balaram in Gopi Bhav.
Who's that again? I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to understand. Yeah.
Next question is,
Okay.
is going to cinema or watching movies right for entertainment if they don't contain illicit activities?
If they don't contain illicit activities, well, all of them disturbs the mind. See, we watch movie also. We have so many movies. ISKCON, Desire Tree has so many movies, Krishna conscious movies. Prabhupada has so many recorded lectures and conversations and interviews. If you watch movies that doesn't have any connection with Krishna or Krishna's devotees, it disturbs the mind. It puts you in the mode of passion and ignorance. Like nowadays, kids, they play games. Most of them are killing each other. No? Like, or like, what will the kids learn from that? Violence. Violence. Passion. Ignorance. If you watch a movie, because the movies are imaginary, it's what you call fiction. It's not real. And if you put yourself in the role of the hero, you identify yourself with that hero. That means that is a mode of ignorance again. What? You will cry if it's drama. Why do you cry? Because the girl left the boy, or the boy ran away. Why you have to cry in that one? No, that's not entertainment. That's miseries. It'll put you in miserable condition, that's for sure. Okay? But sometimes we do some research. It's like scientists. We have to say, we have to give a class about science. So we may watch some films about certain scientists so that we can say something about that. But then when we give the class, then we'll put it up in the scientific platform according to Krishna consciousness. But day to day is very addictive. This Netflix, was that Amazon Prime? What else? We don't watch them anyway. And it's very cheap in India. You can have a family plan. You can share, okay, what is the password? Okay. Oh, he's my friend. Okay, I'll give you the password. He's not your friend. If you give all of those passwords, or you subscribe to them, isn't it? Disney World Plus. That's another one. It's not. Haribol. What else?
Next, what are the ways by which we can preach Krishna consciousness other than Sankirtan and book distribution?
First, preach to ourselves. That is the most important thing. Before we can preach to others, preach to ourselves. That means push ourselves first, try our very best and hard to follow the principles first. The followers of Srila Prabhupada, we try to follow the instructions given by Srila Prabhupada. If you want to be a preacher, be a good example first. This is how we preach to others. Be a good example. Get up early in the morning, not 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Get up at least at 5 o'clock if you're a grihasta, or those who live not in the ashram, and perform your morning spiritual duties. And then you read Prabhupada's books, and then whatever you read, whatever you seen or heard from Srila Prabhupada, you tell others. Now there are other ways. Instead of a book distribution, they're also preaching through internet. Just like we have in our, also another way of preaching is to environment awareness. How the environment can be improved by natural way. It's like we have cows. So how to protect cows? So this may not be like direct preaching, like giving Srila Prabhupada's books or performing Sankirtan. But if we make an awareness to the world how to live simple and think highly, cow protection, growing our own food organically, having ahimsa milk, this is also preaching. Or we go to colleges, to universities, these are also preaching. Anything else?
These days, the values are decreasing in the children.
These days, the values are decreasing
In the children.
in the children. So, what to do? Well, we have gurukuls. This is another example. You can send your children to our gurukul. We have one here in Ojai, few kilometers away from the Krishna Balaram Mandir. We have also in Sridham, Mayapur, traditional Vedic gurukul. Gurukul means the school of the spiritual master. We also have girls' school there in Mayapur, only girls. Sridham Mayapur International School or something, all boys. We have also school there near Bhaktivinoda Thakur's residence or school? School, yeah? So we have many schools, but one of the best, if you're not able to send your kids to our gurukuls, the best teachers are the parents. So you can have homeschooling. That's the best. Then they will not be exposed to non-devotees who are like, really, what will they learn there? To behave improperly, to be vulgar, to say bad words, it's dangerous. As Prabhupada says, he's correct. These slaughterhouses, these colleges, these universities, these are slaughterhouses. Slaughterhouses meaning they're killer of the soul. How can you kill the soul? The soul cannot be killed. It's eternal, it's spiritual. You kill the soul, meaning that you are losing the chance in the human form of life to take advantage of this and use it properly to become Krishna conscious. Atmaha, right? Killer of the soul. We cannot kill ourselves, but you miss your opportunity to go back to the spiritual sky if you misuse it. But if you use it properly for self-realization, take up the process of Krishna consciousness, then there's a chance that, of course, the parents also has to be Krishna conscious. Then they can bring their children to bring them up. So they will grow up to be Krishna conscious. But even if you are not Krishna conscious and you're trying to become Krishna conscious, the parents, by making your children become Krishna conscious, simultaneously also you'll become Krishna conscious. So those are the ways. Anything else?
Yes. Sometimes we miss waking up early Mangala Arti.
We miss Mangal Artik every... Sometimes, okay, you missed it. Huh?
We feel regret.
We feel regret. So that's good.
How to overcome this?
How to overcome? Just get up early. Sleep early. There's a saying in English, what? Early to rise, early to bed makes the man healthy, wealthy, and Krishna conscious. So, if you miss and you regret it and you feel very bad, that is a good sign. But I've seen some of our devotees, it becomes a disease. They will come 2 days, Mangalartik, and then 5 days, they're oversleeping.
Next question.
Is that good? That's not good. And they don't feel sorry. They will say, Maharaj, I'm coming tomorrow. Okay, promise, I'm coming. I told him, Prabhuji, don't promise me anything, just do it. There is a logo, right? Name brand, shoes, just do it. So, just do it. Do it. Okay? What else?
Next one is Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I have a strong desire to come to Vrindavan. How will get mercy of Radharani?
You have a strong desire to go to Vrindavan, how to get the mercy of the devotees. Well, that's a good, strong desire. Eventually, Radharani will fulfill your desire. And if somehow you are thinking to go to Vrindavan and you die, and the time of death you're thinking of going to Vrindavan, you'll take birth in Vrindavan next life. Because that is your meditation. That is the highest boon, to become Brajavashi. Even if you're far away and you're thinking of coming to Vrindavan, you can get the mercy of Radharani by serving her devotees, by serving Lord Krishna's devotees. Then finally, you'll get the benediction, the blessings to come to Vrindavan.
I have a similar question. I have a similar type of question.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I ask?
Yes?
It is said that whoever left his body or her body in Vrindavan Dham, he directly went to Krishna Loka.
Not directly to Krishna Loka. Vaikuntha. You have to still develop love for Krishna. That's a different thing. Even the most sinful personality, if he dies in Vrindavan, he goes to Vaikuntha.
Okay, I have the same question actually. If a person is not doing bhakti and he is in mode of ignorance and passion,
He'll go to Vaikuntha because you die in Vrindavan. But if you are in Vrindavan, you better do bhakti. If you just say, well, I am definitely, that's what the Shastra says. That's what Prabodhananda Sarasvati says in his Mathura or Vrindavan Mahimamrita. Anyone, even the most sinful, but that doesn't mean we should be sinful or we have to. You want to develop Braja Prem. You are in Vrindavan, so develop Braja Prem. Relationship with Krishna will be invoked or will be uncovered when we become purified. It says also that Prabhupada says in the 5th canto, those animals in Vrindavan, that means from their previous life, they were sinful. But this is their last life. So you don't go directly, immediately to Vaikuntha. You have to take birth again in lower species. And now we can see there are so many monkeys, so many dogs, so many pigs. But they're not ordinary souls. Because when they die, it's like the other day I saw, I think on the way here in Vrindavan, there was this baby monkey and the mother monkey was there. And the baby monkey was not moving because she was run over by a vehicle. And the mother monkey was there. She doesn't know what to do. She was so worried. So that baby monkey went back to Godhead. Yes. Yes. Okay? Yes, sir. Anything else? Last one? Just now coming.
Okay. Second name, Aparad, exact translation, say to consider the name. Can I repeat it?
Yes, slowly.
Second name Aparad.
Second naam Aparad.
Second name Aparad, exact translation says to consider the name
Of the demigods,
for
like to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva,
name, form, pastime, dham, etc. of Lord Shiva to be different from Lord Vishnu is offense. Why Prabhupada gave different name?
No, we don't accept this meaning. We accept Prabhupada's meaning.
Yeah.
Where is this? Where is this coming from?
This is the name.
That's an interpretation. We consider Lord, huh?
Ankur Khanda.
Ankur. Where did you get this from? Is this from your translation? No, we never heard this kind of translation. But nevertheless, we respect Lord Shiva. He's Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. But still, he is not God. He is not the supreme God. He is an energy of the Supreme Lord. But at the same time, not at the same level. And an example was given, milk transformed into yogurt. Yogurt is a milk product, but you cannot bring back yogurt to become milk again. So he has his own tattva, Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is more happier to the followers, his followers, that his followers understand that, oh, Lord Shiva is not the supreme. Actually, Lord Krishna, he's more happier. But he's Ashutosh, so he's easily pleased. You just offer him some Ganga water also, and some, what's it called? People? Bel Patra. And he'll be happy. Yeah. So, the translation we don't accept. Okay?
Last question.
Mm-hmm.
My husband is drunk.
My husband is drunkard.
And this
Jai, like Jagai and Madhai.
And this has become a biggest hurdle in my devotion to Krishna.
Yes.
We fight, and this has affected my special child,
Oh.
21 years old. Please help.
Please help. The best thing to do is to be a very good devotee. Be a very good devotee and don't fight with the husband. If the husband wants to drink wine or alcohol, no problem. Give him the alcohol and whatever he likes, but don't fight. Just be a good example, be a good devotee, because by her being a good devotee, she will give credits, some of the credits, the pious credits to him, that eventually in some other lifetimes, he'll become a devotee also. Okay? I gave that example of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. There is a problem. The husband likes eating meat. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, no problem. You can cook for your husband. He likes eating meat. Okay, you cook. But be a good devotee. Because if you become a good devotee, you will influence. You are influencing actually your husband in the future. He'll become a devotee. And your duty is to cook for the husband. There are some stories also where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he will roll bidis for the workers who are constructing temples. He wanted the temples to be finished soon. So now, if the workers will stop to roll bidis and they will smoke, and then that amount of time that they will use for rolling the bidis should be transferred into continuously constructing the temple, then the temple will be built soon. They'll get benefited also. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is ready to roll bidis for them. Now we cannot do that, isn't it? Acharyas can do that, and acharyas can give this kind of instruction. I was asked, like I was giving a class also online. I says, "Oh, the husband like to eat meat. Okay, no problem. Tell them to eat outside." But usually it will not work. It's very difficult. Just be a good, exemplary devotee. That's the best thing you can do, and don't fight in front of the son. Okay? Because they'll get affected psychologically. Very heavy reaction.
The same goes for parents also.
What?
Like parents are not devotees.
Yeah.
So how can we make how can we
Raghunath Das Goswami is like that also. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, don't worry. Just do your duty first, because it is the duty of the children, especially the eldest son, to take care of the mother or the father, elderly. I am the eldest son. I don't have any more father. But my mother, she's in the Philippines. I mean, she's still all right. But I have my other brother to take care. But technically, I should be there. But I'm doing service in Vrindavan. So which is better? I go there, take care of her, while somebody can take care of her, and I can do my service here at the same time. So both things are being accomplished here. I could have just like, hey, give up my service here, go over there and spend my time, who knows, maybe another 5 years or something before, she will leave her body. No, be practical though. If no one will be able to take care of your parents and you're the only one, practice Krishna consciousness while tending or helping your parents. Okay? Yes?
Maharaj, I have one question.
Okay?
Like you said, that nowadays people are suffering from mental diseases.
Yeah, so many.
It's true. But I see that even among devotee community, there
Yeah.
are so many devotees who are facing depression and anxiety.
Oh, yes.
Even with chanting and reading.
Yes.
Now when we meet someone like that, what can we say for them to get out of it? Even though they're doing their devotional service, even though they're chanting their rounds.
Right.
Now, how do we
What is the best thing you can do? Be open. Be open with them. Don't deride them. Don't be angry at them. You become their friend. Console them. Give them your association. You can read together. You can chant together. That way, hopefully, they will be healed in due course sometime. If we say, hey, here's a problem. No, we don't need him. No, you don't have a place here. No. Then there's no hope. Right? I know I have many friends like this. They trust me. It's like they're close to me because I'm open up with them. They can see that I have nothing against them. And I have one case in Delhi. Oh boy, he's so much in the mode of ignorance. Antidepressant. But, he considered me as like, his best friend. And, they have certain feelings, others that they don't like them. So they have to feel love. They have to feel that they are liked. So you have to like that. You have to accommodate them as much as possible. Then you're helping them. They may not be cured of that suffering or disease in this lifetime, but you're helping them for their future life.
Maharaj, a little continuation. I understand that helping them, but when you're helping them, their energies are so low, and sometimes being with them and giving them association, sometimes it kind of attacks you, right? So,
No, you have to be strong. You have to be strong.
Yeah.
You have to be firm with them. Prabhuji, I'm sorry, this is not proper. Sometimes I became heavy with him. Maharaj, don't do this to me again because I feel fear. They're fearful actually. They're very fearful. I chastise him. What? Why you're not chanting? Why did you stop chanting? I became heavy. This is nonsense. So, Maharaj, please, you're my friend, so don't do this to me again. I don't want, I know, I feel fear when someone tells me this. So you have to be strong, you have to be firm, and definitely the mood is always to help them. Okay? Alright. Srila Prabhupada ki! Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much.